can't afford high-priced effects. But this is pretty cool, right? I made this out of paper. Now, I'm not a Star Trek guy. I grew up on Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars guy. But I did watch Next Generation as a kid. But that was a long, long time ago. And recently I saw Wrath of Khan and First Contact. Both movies I really, really enjoyed, but wasn't enough to get me hooked to the franchise. Not enough to turn me into a Trekkie. As for the franchise itself, I know that Enterprise was like cancelled, and I saw a clip on YouTube of like the last few minutes of the last episode of Enterprise. It was all like a hologram thing or something. I'm not even a Star Trek fan, and that pisses me off. Nemesis didn't do great at the box office. I mean, where were you? Where were you, Trekkies, huh? You should have been going in drones over and over and over and over again till this thing made big bucks at the box office, which it didn't. When I found out that J.J. Abrams would be diving into the past of Kirk and Spock, I was disappointed. I felt like it was taking a step back instead of a step forward. But once I saw the trailers, that proved me wrong. I realized sometimes you have to go back to the past to fix things in the future. And that's what the impression I got from the trailer, that this movie was just going to be insanely good. Everything looked great, the cast looked great. So I was hooked. I really, really wanted to see this film. And it actually came probably in my top 3 most anticipated movies of this year. If you go to my website, I'm making all these hand gestures, I know why I'm doing that, but www.filmspunk.com. Go there, check it out, have a good time, leave some comments. But if you look through the posts, you'll see that I really enjoyed the trailer, and my anticipation kept building for the movie. The film itself takes a look at young Kirk and young Spock. The film focuses on the contrast between the two characters. Kirk grows up to be the wild child, whereas Spock is disciplined since birth. Both Spock and Kirk have to learn to work together and overcome their problems because a ship from the future arrives in the past. The ship is a Romulan ship, and the leader of the group is a guy called Nero, who's played by Eric Bana. So he wants to destroy Earth, and it's up to a new crew to stop this guy. First off, I have to give major props to the cast, who didn't go off and rehash what the old characters did in the old show. They added their own little quirks and elements to their character. I felt like Christopher Pine had the toughest job because, let's face it, William Shatner and Kirk are cemented in pop culture. So to come along and to do that character and make us not think of Shatner and role is tough in itself. And the guy fucking nails it. There's not one pointer in this whole movie where I thought, oh, he's just copying what Shatner is doing. He brought his own to the role. He was a badass. I loved his character. And the most important part is not to see Shatner on screen, what he's done. Zachary Quinto also did a great job as Spock and played off Kirk very, very well. The Kirk and Spock in the old show had great chemistry, but these guys rekindled that chemistry again. It was interesting to see Spock dealing with his human side. And one of the most important things is each character felt like they were placed in the movie for a reason. It wasn't like, let's just throw that character in there because they're in the old show. They put the characters in there and they all serve a purpose, and it drives the plot forward as well. The main problem with prequels is you know the fate of the characters. You know who's going to live. You know who's going to die. There's no sense of danger. It lessens the barrier of possibilities. And this film creates a new timeline. So lets that sense of danger, and it opens up the possibilities. And Spock says a few lines in this movie that clears up the new timeline, that new events can happen, and that left me satisfied. It was done perfect without diving into it and exploring it for too long. Few lines, done, dusted, everyone's happy. In all the old shows of Star Trek, even in Next Generation, Enterprise, you always see the ship in space like this. It's always in a straight line. But in this movie, you really feel the movements of the ship. Like the ship's kind of it doesn't move straight, it can move all over the place, and you really, because it does that, you really feel the momentum and you feel like you are moving with the ship. I really didn't want this film to end. I didn't feel the 2 hours passing. This film was so entertaining, so much fun, great characters, great storyline, great special effects. I just didn't want it to end at all. Like with every movie, there's bad sides to a movie. The good news is there's nothing really to complain about other than Nero, who's played by Eric Bana in this movie. I just felt like Nero was another run-of-the-mill villain. Wasn't at that level of great villainous. He's nothing memorable at all. Another thing I didn't really like was Leonard Nimoy was in this movie, as we've seen in the trailer, so it's no spoiler in case anyone says I spoiled it. But he pops up and you're like, okay, this character's here and he does his bit, but kind of feels like he hangs around for a bit too much. I'm sure old fans will be happy about this, but I just kind of felt, you know, you've done your purpose, please go away now. Forget your perception of Star Trek. This is new, fresh, exciting, brings the franchise back and makes it better. Overall, I give this film an 8 out of 10. Just go see this movie. It's amazing. You'll love it. Do not miss it. So, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you soon.